Hey everybody, Michael Snyder here, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is February 11th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. You can see BC, Washington, Oregon, California here. Here goes that upper level low moving down across the state of California. Some precipitation with it, mainly light. Going to keep the temperature suppressed here across the southwest over the next couple of days. Across the Pacific Northwest, so another fairly nice day going on here, and you're going to get some high clouds starting to move over the top of this ridge into the area here. But get out and enjoy this day before this next system developing out here across Siberia and the Bering Sea. It's going to move across the Aleutian Islands, across the Gulf of Alaska, and slam into the Pacific Northwest. Take a look at those details coming up here in a moment. A little bit of lowland snowfall possible, mainly a big mountain snowmaker here as we go on in through Tuesday. Now taking a look here, this is 700 millibars, 10,000 feet. There goes the upper level low down the coast of California here. But check out this cold air across some Siberia, the Bering Sea, as it starts to make its move here across the Aleutians, across the Gulf of Alaska here, and slams down into the Pacific Northwest. And again, this is at 10,000 feet here, and this would be about Tuesday, 10 a.m. here across Pacific Northwest shown there. Now a little bit closer look, 500 millibars, 18,000 feet. You'll clearly see this polar lobe come flying across the Gulf of Alaska and into the Pacific Northwest. There is some very cold air aloft associated with this as we go on in through very early Tuesday morning shown there as well. Now, as you can imagine, with these pretty extreme temperatures aloft, it's going to bring a powerful jet stream, a strong gradient here across the Gulf of Alaska. Let's watch it develop. You can see the trough carving out across the Gulf of Alaska here. And look at this jet stream develop here with this northwesterly flow off the Pacific Northwest here. Look at this 184 knots, about 200 miles per hour there at about 30,000 feet, just driving down off the coastline there, introducing that cold air into the region shown there Tuesday morning. Now taking a closer look here at 10,000 feet across Pacific Northwest. I want you to watch this come across here. This does not get a chance to modify too much because it's moving fast and it's at 10,000 feet. So it doesn't really get much of that ocean effect to it. It doesn't really modify too much. It's going to bring a very cold air down across Pacific Northwest here. Now watch this as we go down lower to 5,000 feet here. Put that into motion here, and again, since it's moving fast, you get a lot of cold air, and it does modify a little bit there. You kind of notice that. It's still going to be pretty chilly by the time it gets there, but you do get a little bit more modifying effects there the lower you go through the atmosphere here. Now, this is 925 millibars, 2,500 feet. Watch this cold air come off of southern Alaska here, and as it moves across the ocean, you can clearly see the modifying effects of that air mass by the time it gets towards the Pacific Northwest. That's what it's going to be. It's always difficult to get snow down to the surface in such trajectories here, even though the cold air is moving fast. But if we introduce some convection to this, we can tap some of that colder air aloft, and that's kind of our hope here as far as lowland snowfall goes coming up here. More on that in a moment. Now, looking at 850 millibar, this is a temperature anomaly and streamlines at 5,000 feet. You can see this cold air just blast across here and introduce itself into the Pacific Northwest here. And you can kind of see, you'll notice that we don't really have that big Arctic high setting up across British Columbia here. So this is not a huge Arctic outbreak by any means. This is just some very cold air flying across the Gulf of Alaska into the Pacific Northwest here. Now taking a look at this, we're looking at convergent zone activity and wind speeds here. So we're going to go ahead and speed ahead till Sunday. And you can see this westerly flow develop as we go on in through Monday here, and kind of a classic convergent zone signature going on across some of the Puget Sound here. It's going to translate to some big mountain snows here wherever this convergent zone sets up as we go through Monday afternoon and evening shown here. But you can clearly see it coming through the Strait of Georgia, Strait of Juan de Fuca, and the Chehalis Gap here. And as we go on into Tuesday morning here, there's going to be another little ripple here in this flow that may bring some enhanced precipitation places like extreme southwest Washington down through some of the Willamette Valley here as well on and through Tuesday morning. Could bring a little bit of lower elevation snowfall across some of western Oregon here too as well. More on that here in a moment. This is at the NAM 3KM here, and this is 925 millibar winds just off the surface, 2,500 feet. And as we go on in through Sunday, we'll speed ahead here a bit here. And you can see the southerly flow in advance of this system across the area here by Sunday afternoon. But then you'll see the flow turn westerly and clearly see this convergent zone potential here as you start to get into Monday. And you can see it blasting through the Strait of Juan de Fuca, Chehalis Gap, and it meets over some of the Puget Sound here, central Puget Sound. And then you can see this northerlies try to move down the sound a bit there on Monday afternoon. Could even get a lightning strike at some point in here across the central Puget Sound or back into the foothills and the mountains there with some of that convergent zone activity here. Now looking at this total snow-Kucherin ratio in inches. Last night's European run put this into motion. Big mountain snowfalls coming. You can see a little bit of flirtation with some of those lower elevations here across the Puget Sound. But look at this. There's that little feature there kind of shown by Longview, Washington, down towards Willamette Valley. Maybe a little bit better chance of snowfall here with this round as this cold air kind of develops a little tiny weak system here as it moves down through Oregon. But look at these big snowfall amounts for the mountains here as we go on in through the day Tuesday here shown. Now this is looking at the Canadian total snow-Kuchera, just same thing as we just looked at with the European. Put that into motion here. Again, flirting with a little bit of snowfall, maybe across the central sound with some kind of convergence zone activity there. Just show a little bit of potential down here through Oregon. And another thing here is we're going to be dealing with this system a little bit later here on in through Tuesday morning. So it's going to be a little bit more favorable timing here, maybe for the Willamette Valley, Portland, Longview, Washington there as well. Because during the afternoon and evening on Monday, temperatures are going to be really marginal and quite warm here. Not really warm, but they're going to be above freezing. So it's going to be really difficult to get any kind of accumulation down to the surface here across the region, mainly higher hills. Now taking a look here, this is the UW model, kind of a nice model here. It's just composite reflectivity by precipitation type. If we put this into motion here, let's go ahead and play this out. Here we go on into very early Monday morning. You see this system start to arrive here, bringing in mountain snows here, mainly kind of a rain, maybe a little bit of snowflakes mixing in here with some of the heavier precipitation as we go through the day Monday. Then you can see things start to turn colder here. By the time you get to Monday evening, 7 p.m., you start to see some snowflakes mixing in across the Puget Sound, potentially the Willamette Valley as well. And you can kind of see that little bit of a system here as we move down in through early Tuesday morning, which is better timing there as well. It allows things to cool off a bit. You don't get that solar radiation getting down to the surface there. Maybe that's the higher hills will be a little bit cooler there, and maybe we'll get a little bit more accumulating snowfall down across some of southwest Washington down into Oregon there as the system drops down south, eventually on in through the day Tuesday. Now taking a look here, this is accumulated model snowfall here, the UW site, 4 kilometers. Push this out all the way through Monday. And this is Monday afternoon. You can see nothing yet for the Willamette Valley, or not too much anyway. And you can see the big mountain snows piling up here. But as you go through into early Tuesday morning, look at this. Longview, Washington south. Looks like a couple of inches of snowfall the UW is hinting at here across some of the Willamette Valley. So we got to watch this kind of closely here. A lot of cold air aloft with that. So there's a potential. But again, it's probably not something that's going to be sticking on the cement too much. Maybe grassy surfaces, cars, rooftops, and whatnot as we go on in through Tuesday morning. This is Western Washington. Same map here. Accumulated snowfall, 4-kilometer resolution. Put this into motion here, and you can see the snow starting to accumulate across the mountains, and a little bit of snow showing up across some of the central Puget Sound, northern Puget Sound, maybe the San Juans. But again, probably not something that's going to be sticking on I-5 or anything like that. Maybe on some of the grassy surfaces, cars, rooftops, whatnot. And you can see that again, that little band of snow down here, southwest Washington. A little bit better chances down there, at least according to the UW model. Now this is looking at the NAM, the 12-kilometer resolution here, which is going to speed ahead through here and show you the mountain snows build up here. Doesn't show much for Portland, maybe a little bit for Eugene, but it shows a little bit trying to get down towards I-5 here through the Willamette Valley here as you go on in through Tuesday morning. Now this is the European here, and I wanted to show you this one here as well. It shows a little bit of snowfall, as you can see. Probably not a big snowfall maker. Down to the surface again. Got to keep saying that. But you can see it's calling for a little bit of snowfall down here for Longview and Portland as well. So this is agreeing with that UW model about the increased snowfall activity across southwest Washington, maybe down the I-5 corridor towards Portland there. Now this is looking at lightning flash density potential here. Last night's European run. You put this into motion. We're going on into the day Monday here. We're about 10 a.m. shown here, and you can see some lightning potential start to develop as we go on in towards the afternoon hours here across the central Puget Sound, maybe Vancouver Island. And this could easily translate up across into the foothills or even the mountains here as these convergent zones are kind of passing through the region here. So yeah, there is a lightning strike potential with that as well. So maybe we'll get a nice surprise at this system as we go on in through Monday evening. This is a 6 hour, 2 meter temperature here. And as we go on in through let's go on into Tuesday morning here, and you can kind of see the chill that's coming here. Might get some freezing of the roadways. Whatever falls could freeze overnight on in through Tuesday morning shown here. As you can see, some pretty chilly temperatures here by the time you go on in through Tuesday morning. Now looking at this, Seattle-Tacoma. 14, 15, 16, mid-February here. We're clearly into some mid and upper 20s here as we go on in through early to mid next week. And so you can kind of see that cold snap highlighted there in the European deterministic run as of last night. This is Portland. Check out some of these chilly temperatures. Wednesday morning looks like it's going to be the chilliest. Look at all the way down towards Eugene, probably into the lower 20s here. It's probably overdoing it a little bit there, but you can clearly see that colder air arriving here early to mid next week. This is Snohomish County Payne Field. European ensemble runs here. And again, it's going to be hard to get this to stick on the cement roads and whatnot down to the surface here. But you can see maybe some accumulation on the grassy surfaces, on the rooftops, whatnot. Seattle, Tacoma, lesser amounts forecast here. And again, maybe just a covering on cement surfaces out there. The roads are going to be pretty warm during the day Monday. Portland International here, you can see up towards an inch maybe, but again, probably not getting down and accumulating much on the surface roads. This is down for Eugene. Look at this control calling up for 2 inches down there as that colder air moves down through Oregon here with a little bit better timing, like I said, in through Tuesday morning there. So we'll see how this goes. We got one more day tomorrow to look at this system here and try to fine tune some of these details here as we go. This is Snoqualmie Pass. Check this out. Nice shot of snowfall coming up through here as we go on in through Tuesday morning. Mount Baker, same thing here as we go on in through Monday afternoon, evening, Tuesday morning here. Nice shot of snowfall coming for the Cascades for sure. Crater Lake, nice amounts coming up here, probably half a foot. Whistler, probably a little bit better moisture dynamics the further you go south. So you can see, what is this, maybe 4, 5, 6 inches for Whistler there. Now, this is looking at Missoula, Montana here. So you're going to get some precipitation out there. You can see percent chance of 1 inch snowfall or more. You can see Missoula here about 64% chance there. So you can kind of see the higher terrains are going to be favored here. And so Lookout Pass, for example, probably about 100% there. But you can see a round of snowfall is coming here for the Idaho Panhandle on in through western Montana there. And this is going to include some of the Blue Mountains here on through northeast Oregon, southwest Washington as well. This is something Seattle put out yesterday, National Weather Service Seattle, and you can see the chance of 1 inch more snowfall is very low across the Puget Sound area. So more than likely, this is going to be something that you hope to see some snowflakes and just create a nice scene versus having a disruptive snowfall down towards the surface elevations here. If anything, it's going to be on the higher hills the further you get away from the metro areas here. So any elevation is going to help you see snowflakes here with this event. Now, this is looking at total daylight here, 2023 daylight Boise. You can see December 8th, it was down to 9 hours and 3 minutes total sunlight. We are now getting up over 10 hours and 20 minutes total sunlight this time of the year. And you can see by the time we move into June here, we're dealing with almost 18 hours of horizon light here. And again, this is for Boise here, but this goes for much of the Pacific Northwest as well. We are increasing the length of our days here quite rapidly at this time of year. This is for Portland, Oregon here as well. You can see sunset by the time we go into Pacific daylight time here. We're going to be setting the sun on March 17th at 7:19 p.m. That's going to be very nice. I know I will enjoy that quite a bit. But you can see total daylight at that point will be at 12 hours, March 17th there. Nice graphic here from the National Weather Service, Portland. So anyway, we're going to launch this cold air across and into the Pacific Northwest here. So we're going to change things up, a couple nice days, including today, and then we're going to go back in kind of that stormy pattern here with big mountain snows and maybe see some flakes flying around the lower elevations coming up here. And if you're lucky, maybe we'll get a lightning strike and a thunderstorm here across the region as well. So we'll also take a look, a little bit more detail into the extended tomorrow. Looks like we might stay cold towards the end of February here. We'll take a look at that. It's purely fantasy right now. Of course, it's way out there towards the end of the month, but we will look at that a little bit more here coming up, trying to get some consolidation in the models here and trying to let that event get a little bit closer to us before we start to focus in on fantasy cold air moving into the region again here for the end of February. So you guys know how that goes. We'll take a look at that tomorrow and in the upcoming days. So anyway, get out there and enjoy the day today as we go, and we will do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.